This is Mafia 3 Definitive Edition. We're on Xbox Series X, taking a look at this third and so far last entry in the Mafia series. So what we're getting on Series X is an inherited Xbox One X enhancement. That means we're getting 1728p at 30 FPS with HDR support. And yeah, the game does actually look pretty good. Now there is quite a bit of environmental pop-in, and the game is resolution fixed after the Definitive Edition basically removed the Xbox One X enhancement, which was kind of funny, and then they, fixed it, added it back in, and here we are today, taking a look at what Mafia 3 has to offer. So we're kind of doing a bit of a drive around and discussion of the game, because we hopefully don't want to get any of the story content triggered, because it's very adult in nature in terms of the themes and some of the colorful language that is deployed in this one. So basically, this is a very interesting entry in the series. It's a little bit closer to the modern era, and it's sort of framed almost like a true crime documentary, I guess you could say, just in terms of it being almost told from a now perspective, and then you're playing. And yeah, it's really cool how the story is sort of presented in this one in terms of how you engage with it, the characters, and the general goal. Now, this one I felt was a little bit less focused in comparison to the other Mafia titles. This one embraces the open world a bit more. So what I really liked about the first two Mafia titles is that when you play them, the open world is more of a backdrop, whereas in this one, the open world is much more of a place you kind of go and you do things in. And the structure of it is kind of like, you do some narrative things, and then you kind of have this open objective where you're like, hey, go out and, take these neighborhoods and stuff, and that's kind of the style of the game, which I didn't necessarily love as much in comparison to the other ones. I do quite like the main character and the family dynamics here, because there's a bit of a kind of a war going on in regards to certain elements of it, and if you're a fan of the Mafia series, you might see a familiar face pop in every once in a while, or something along those lines, which might be fun. But yeah, it is kind of a neat game, and it's a neat franchise. And as you're seeing, there's so much pop-in on this one. For a definitive, I kind of wish they would have cleaned it up a little bit more. But, it does what it does. It's kind of also a cool setting just in terms of where you're located and the type of conflicts that you have to deal with. Oh, wow, that was pretty hardcore. I'm surprised I'm even alive still. Anyways, had a brief sneeze in there. The game is actually quite lovely in terms of the visuals, the cutscenes, what you're doing in it. It's just the direction of it didn't quite hit the mark for me like the other ones did. And this is also cool. Again, I'm surprised I didn't die there, but I guess the driving's a little bit more casual setting-wise in this. Because in the Mafia games, there's an element of actually having to watch your speed, and you have to deal with like the cops and stuff, and you get in a car crash, you can actually like really kind of mess yourself up. But I love the look of the vehicles in that. It's really interesting. Yes, now we'll do a little bit of walking up to the police department. Ow, that guy could have killed me. Don't really have any guns or anything. I guess I got this. I want to show off a little bit of the combat and some of the foot action of the game. Your character is also like pretty tough too, just in regards to their background, in regards to I said that twice in a row, which isn't great, but where he comes from, there's the whole war backdrop and stuff, which is kind of neat. And yeah, it's definitely a different sort of experience in terms of like the backdrop and then the goal of you kind of wanting to take over the city, I guess you could say, from a crime perspective. Definitely an interesting thing. I don't necessarily think there are many titles out there that do like gaming experiences that do this like specific era and perspective. These games really focus on like kind of Mafia Empire with the title Mafia, obviously. But you get the gist of what I'm saying, is they're kind of little timepieces, and I think they kind of almost authentically capture the era they're trying to present in terms of like the vehicles, the music, the look of the characters, the style, the attitudes. I think it's very authentic to that, and it's kind of cool. New outfits at my safe house. Ooh, should we get a new cool outfit? Hello there. Just want to go by and grab something a little bit snazzier. And of course, all the content they release for it. It's all like in this definitive thing. And all the other Mafia titles have also been kind of upgraded in terms of their look and their design. Oh yeah, and this one's really neat because it opens up with like this really cool bank robbery kind of thing. The experience, that's funny. Oh, the party animal one's kind of fun. Stones unturned. Oh man, gotta do bounty hunter thing. A Mafia 2 leather jacket. What about my formal? Ooh, snazzy. I like this one. Tea time. It's just golfing. And then the soldier look, which would be kind of a little bit weird, but actually it's America, right? So maybe not. Nah, that looks weird for where we're like located, location-wise. A little bit of a weird outfit. I kind of like that one. Yeah, let's get down to business. We're gonna rock it. We're gonna do the. We're gonna get the mustache, but yeah, it's kind of a pretty cool experience. I think some people might have a lot of fun with the setting and you know what your goals are and how you're dealing with people. And one thing I really like about the Mafia titles, aside from we've talked about the aesthetic and the story of them a bit, but I love the advertisements. Like it's really cool some of the art direction they take in regards to like the buildings and the designs of the places and the backdrop. And like I said, it's a bit more in this one about kind of doing things in the open world, like collectibles and, like missions and stuff, are more about going around in a fairly large city environment. I mean, I think it's pretty decently big. Oh, that doesn't do that. As you can tell, like, it's got all these different, like, locations to it, and, they mix things up quite a bit, but, yeah, it was also a bit of a stranger one. I didn't necessarily get fully into this one like I did with the other two. I thought those ones were really kind of the quintessential Mafia kind of titles. Like it's as if you were watching an old gangster movie. Those perfectly emulated this, which is neat because this one, kind of does like a modern doc style, which I also think is a cool way to tell a story. A very cool way to tell a story. And it looks like we froze there for a sec. That was weird. I haven't experienced that before. That's really quite interesting. I don't know how that's going to turn out footage-wise with the capture on that. Huh, that's very cool. But yeah, I do kind of wish they would have maybe smoothed things out. I almost want another definitive package on top of the definitives we got for the 3 Mafia titles, just kind of getting them ready for next gen. Also, I gotta say the crowd density is kind of nice on this one. It's got a cool vibe to it. And again, like the setting of it allows for an interestingly different approach to cultural output and stuff, and I think that's kind of cool. And the setting, obviously, right? Like you get this sort of downtown area, but then you get some of the outskirts are a little bit different in terms of their look and design. It just offers, some really distinct environments. And I hope I'm kind of showing it off well without diving into missions, because again, they definitely showcase the era that we're in very well in terms of like the attitude and the language and stuff, and how our lead character is treated by the local location. Yeah, definitely unique. I actually like walking around in some of these open world games and just seeing what they have to offer location wise. Like there's so many kind of detailed buildings and stuff. I really wish you could kind of explore the insides of buildings. I hope we get there at some point. They witnessed a crime. Oh no. This is totally normal, guys. I'm just hiding the body. We're gonna get out of this proximity here. Can we hide it in this car? I was kind of actually hoping I could get some ammo off of him. He's useless to me. Haha, the perfect crime. Anyways, open world, but you can do stuff in it. Like I said, the other Mafia titles, they really focused on the open world being like almost the backdrop, but this one uses it a bit more. So depending on if you like that style or not, you'll find it sort of interesting in that regard. Oh, this is not an exit. I need to go this way, because the cops are looking for me. Oh, don't want to pull that out. Yeah, and that sense of realism is always fun in the Mafia games too. Like I said, like the opening here for this game is really neat, because it's like this whole big, high-level federal bank robbery type of thing. It's very, very interesting in how they set that up and what they do with it. Hmm. Very, very cool. I love the look of the downtown here. Such a neat setup. We don't get enough historically set games, in my opinion. You know, just in terms of like providing different eras and setups. I really don't think we get enough of those to explore and take in. Oh, that looks kind of lovely with the flowers and stuff. This is a cool area. But I hope this has been an alright showcase of seeing how it's running on the platform. I mean, it does look pretty good, and you know, the HDR, although maybe a little washed out. I don't know how you would describe that, but you know, obviously they could take things further, I guess. I think they could take things further with this one. You know, it'd be a really nice candidate, I think, for an FPS boost. And what do we have here in the bushes? Ooh, look what we found. One of the special magazines. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. Always a kind of a trademark of the Mafia series. If you weren't aware, they're always there. I think you get like trading cards and stuff in the other ones. Sorry about that. But yeah, Mafia 3 pretty cool. You can do missions, take over areas, shootouts, drive around. You know, work with a group, try to survive. It's not necessarily a perfect release of this game, but I think it's the best offering that we are going to get at this point, and it's nice that, you know, it is actually kind of cleaned up and running smooth enough and offering some fun, neat experiences that you can kind of take in. And of course, normally we'd be doing like actual missions and stuff, and this is purely just for the context of showing off the world. Oh, there's a cinema. I really want to go to like an old school cinema, and I don't think that's really a thing you can ever do these days, but we'll kind of end just by looking at this, you know, like the posters. In failure but defeat. I want into the theater. Swamp Beast, aha.